This mud puddle is actually cannibalistic. The boy was rescued by the crows pouncing all over the mud and wanted to wipe it with his hands, but a strange scene happened. The 5 features of his own face appeared on the body of the mudman, but the mudman was not satisfied and tried to swallow the whole child, chasing him frantically. Whether hit with a spray gun or cut with a sigh, the mudman would recover as if nothing had happened. He stretched out his rubbery arms and swallowed the 180-pound child in one bite, and then even provoked him afterward. This is the 10th child to be killed in the town, and the previous 9 all disappeared in the forest. There seems to be some kind of magic behind it, and now it's reaching out to the town, the village which threatens to die on the night of the full moon. And there's a lot of panic until the 2 of them show up as the most famous exorcism brothers in that area. All their actions emphasize their professionalism. Often do know this gossip map without a 3 or 5 years of painting that are not painted, plus their equipment is very complete. But just then, a demon wind blew outside. The gate of the farm kept shaking as if the whole house was going to collapse. And this is just the most classic way for demons to appear. The Grimm brothers came to their senses, grabbed their weapons and prepared to fight, but the demon in front of them was so powerful, he sent one of them flying with a single swing of his hand. Just by looking at each other, they were manipulated and they couldn't help but aim their weapons at each other. At the critical moment, Jack broke free and shot an arrow through the demon's heart. A thick cloud of smoke flew out and the monster was transformed into a pile of filth. Will warns the villagers that this is the soul of the demon and that if they seal it up and bury it at the top of a snowy mountain, it will be destroyed. But as soon as the villagers leave, the destroyed demon reappears and removes its mask, which is just a trick designed by the 2 brothers. They use this way to cheat and spend the money endlessly. But there comes a time when the lie is broken. The Grimm brothers were arrested by the king, but the reason for their arrest wasn't because they were running a scam. It was because they had to find the town's 10 missing girls, or else they'd turn the Grimm brothers into Grimm's rice. They have no choice but to set sail, but before they can get there, the demon has found a new target. This little girl didn't want to go to sleep at night. When she heard strange noises coming from the horses on the farm, she wanted to go inside to calm them down, but instead she found spider silk coming out of the horse's mouth and getting more and more entangled, just like Spider-Man. In no time at all, the girl was wrapped up in it. The horse swallowed the girl in one gulp. The Grimm brothers, who were still sleeping, were awakened by the horse's screams and realized that not only was their horse pregnant overnight, but it was also pregnant with a human girl. In order to find out the truth, the 2 of them followed the direction of the horse. But when they enter the forest, the evil things come one after another. The trees inside move around like they have legs, and the Grimm team is broken down by them one by one. One of them was captured by an evil branch, and the other was poked through the body and pulled into a hole. The 2 brothers managed to escape, but were coerced by the king's cronies and had to enter the forest again the next day. This time they found Mary, who had grown. Up here, in the center of the forest, is a tower built by a queen 500 years ago. Rumor has it that on her wedding day, a plague broke out and the first to die was her own king. She hid in the tower to avoid the disaster, but because the plague was airborne, she died there. In order to find out what happened, his brother Jack climbed up to the tower and found 12 coffins arranged neatly around the tower like a dial. Intuition tells him that this is no coincidence. Jack used the inertia of the rope to swing into the tower and was shocked by the sight in front of him. Although it was covered with spiders, it still couldn't hide the once aristocratic atmosphere. The magical books placed on the countertop and the parchment scrolls with formations on them were exactly the same as in reality. When Jack came to his senses, he realized that although the queen lying on the bed had turned into a dry corpse, her fingernails seemed to have never stopped growing. That's when the hunter brought in the 11th girl. He pricked his finger and a crow flew away from the dry body. The queen, who had absorbed the blood, suddenly coughed, scaring Jack, who was standing by. Then he found a bronze mirror. The world inside was different from the real world. The beautiful queen in the mirror is not only intact, but also using her beauty to confuse Jack.
Tell me, I am the fairest of them all. Jacob, what do you desire, Jacob?
A man discovers an ancient magic mirror in which another world lives. A deserted room full of spiders is refracted into a magnificent room. The queen who died 500 years ago is strangely resurrected. She is in the mirror and is obsessed with Jack, using her beauty to compel the man, not knowing that it is all controlled by the dry body in the back. Just when Jack was about to lose his grip, a rock flew in at the glass, which allowed Jack to escape. 11 of the 12 sarcophagi are already full. As long as another girl is captured before the full moon, the purpose of resurrection can be achieved. But the Grimm brothers had never seen such a battle. They were just a fraudulent exorcist. Before they could escape, they were arrested by the king. If you can't handle it, you'll have to be dealt with along with the forest. The 2 brothers were tied up in the forest and could only watch as the fire spread. They were still being bombarded with cannons. At that crucial moment, Mary appeared, saved the two brothers, and ran deeper into the forest, only to encounter the wolf, who served the queen once again. He stood up and was a mutated werewolf. Mary couldn't believe that the werewolf in front of her was her father, who had disappeared for 10 years. He was lost in the snow. When he was looking for food for his family, the queen saved him and planted nails to make him her slave. Now he's a shell of himself. He pushed Mary into the river to make his daughter the last of the sacrifices. Jack saw this and was just about to jump in. A ring thrown by the hunter instantly frowns in the water. He could only watch Mary sink into the water. On the other side, the queen had awakened. He just blew his stinky breath and the forest fire was instantly extinguished. The hunter brought the blood of the 12th maiden to the queen. The moon was also gradually eroded. Jack tried his best to jump to the tower, but it was too late. The queen has already put on her crown, and there is great magic in her fingers. Jack grabbed a machete and slashed at it, but the queen waved her hand on the wall. Then his brother climbed up. He did the same thing, but ended up in the same place. The queen controls all the weapons in her hand, and will only stop when she kills one of them. With the coming of the lunar eclipse, the queen, dead for 500 years, began to regain her appearance. Witnessing this, my brother realized he had to stop her, so he let go of her hand, and the moment the dagger pierced his heart, the magic disappeared. Jack immediately grabbed his axe and shattered the mirror, tearing the queen apart. The hunter, who has come to his senses, takes the biggest piece of the mirror and leaps down, leaving the queen in pieces. This is the 2005 American thriller movie The Brothers Grimm. A pair of charlatan exorcists are forced by the king to enter a forest tower in search of 11 lost maidens. The queen tried to resurrect the 12 girls by sacrificing their blood 500 years ago, but they were destroyed by the brothers and eventually perished. This story tells us that although we are limited and not professional, we can still do our part to do our best. I am Zero Sense Film. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.